Meanwhile, 216 people have been hospitalized with COVID-19. Of that number, 37 are critically ill. There are 5,138 active cases. Meanwhile, the country recorded 200 new cases in the last 24 hours. The overall case count is now 53,839. The positivity rate is now 18%. 4 new deaths were also recorded, pushing the death toll to 1,211. And it's time for a break here on the Midday News. Stay with us. We have more when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Thousands of young people will benefit from summer jobs this year. But local government minister Desmond McKenzie is urging participants to be honest when carrying out their duties. Shamala Pullen reports.
A total of 6,000 young people are now engaged under the Youth Summer Employment Program YSEP for this year. Local government minister Desmond McKenzie says this has been the largest group since the inception of the program. Mr. McKenzie says with the country still grappling with COVID-19, some of these individuals will be on the ground helping in the fight to end the pandemic.
YSEP workers across the country will participate in this exercise, will be trained by the Ministry of Health, those who are willing to participate. This is one new aspect of the program.
Other areas of the program include young people engaging at municipal corporations across the island. They will be carrying out data collection and administrative support services. The aim is to help improve service delivery and ensure greater levels of efficiency.
Additionally, you will be helping the local authorities to put an end to the illegal operation of motor car dealerships and garages across the country. I'm sure many of you in your own towns and various communities have seen an high concentration of used car dealership taking place. And where are these cars parked? On the sidewalk.
Mr. McKenzie also said that there will be strict monitoring of the program. He laments that not all the persons who participated the last time did what they were expected.
Some of the participants provided bogus information, didn't go anywhere, sit under a tree and watch TV and prepare the information. This year it is not going to work based on the systems that we are putting in place for the checks and balances.
The YSEP was launched in 2018 in an effort to reduce unemployment among young people. Since its inception, more than 21,000 young people have been employed island-wide. Shamala Pullen, TVJ News.
Plans are progressing for the development of the Alligator Pond Beach on the border of Manchester and St. Elizabeth. The area is one of 10 beaches earmarked for upgrades this fiscal year.
The government has set aside roughly $400 million for the redevelopment of beaches across the island. This year, 10 have been prioritized, and the Alligator Pond Beach in St. Elizabeth is one of them. The consultation process has begun, and while speaking at the second town hall meeting for the project on Saturday, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett shared the project's direction.
We're going to start with $191 million of development of the beach area, and to look at how our traders are trading and the facilities that you have there, the sanitary conveniences and all the infrastructure that is required to make the place look nice and good. And we're going to spend that first to do that. And then later we come with the other renderings for an artisan village like we just finished in Falmouth.
Mr. Bartlett says fisherfolk are to also benefit from the redevelopment.
Part of this whole development program is going to be to work with our fisherfolk to enable them the capacity to get bigger fish catch, to use better equipment, and to be able to preserve and keep so that they could sell days after they have done the catch.
A number of shops and recreational areas will also be added.
The country's murder rate has jumped to 8% after 5 persons were murdered across the island yesterday. The murder tally is now 840 compared to 781 over the corresponding period last year. 12 homicides have been recorded since Sunday. The St. Andrew South Police Division continues to lead the island with 107 homicides, followed by St. James with 98, St. Catherine South with 70, and Westmoreland with 64. Residents of Eden Park Housing Scheme in St. Mary are renewing appeals for the Housing Agency of Jamaica to address the water issues in the area. Codian Barrett reports.
Since the establishment of the Eden Park Housing Scheme in St. Mary more than 10 years ago, residents have been complaining about the same problem: no piped water. The people are even more concerned because the community is expanding.
Everybody buy the property, buy them land, looking for water, and there is no water. You see, people are building right now, they have to use chalk. And it can't work. You see, we need the water. We need it.
There was a glimmer of hope last year when work started on a water project, but that's been put on hold, leaving them with another issue.
Then run the line, come up, then cut off one next part over there, so until now, they not come back and rectify nothing. So no water in the line. So it can't work. Every day then say you have to wash your hand twice. If you go to the latrine, you have to wash it. Anywhere you go, you have to wash your hand because Corolla. So how that go?
Them come here and them dig up the pipe. About 3 different set of men dig up the pipe and they say, we are going to get water. And up till now, we can't get a little water in the pipe. Up till now. Up till today. So, I don't know what the result. We keep calling them all the while, call TVJ and they say them all come. All now nobody now come. And the whole of the road mash up the road, dig up, for them put in pipe. And up till today, we can't get no water.
With bad roads and no water, residents are now growing frustrated. They say the Housing Agency of Jamaica scheduled a meeting to discuss the way forward, but
them call meeting. When them call the meeting, some people there and some people gonna work. So we don't know what go on because we don't see the people when we got the meeting. We don't hear some meeting keep. So they don't call a meeting for say pan evening when they know say everybody they both. Then call the meeting when people gonna work. I mean, I see no sense in that.
When we contacted HAJ Managing Director Patrick Thelwell, he said he was unable to give an immediate response on the issue, but promised to do so by the end of the week. Codian Barrett, TVJ News.
The government has committed to increasing the country's supply of goats across the island through its Ruminant Development Program. Speaking at the launch in St. Elizabeth earlier this week, Agriculture Minister Floyd Green outlined some of the plans.
And the way we're going to do that is, one, continuing some of the things that we've done and expanding things that we need to do. So we're going to continue our purchase and distribution of mature bucks, to expand breeding support to small ruminant clusters across the island. But we also have to ensure that we improve the quality of our goats so that we can have rapid multiplication. Mr. Green added that while the government develops a national livestock policy, the requisite groundwork must be done. This $50 million program is going to target 6,000 registered small ruminant farmers, and they will be able to get 1 to 3 inseminations of any breed of their choice, an ovum or embryo transfer, and they're going to get that absolutely free of cost. And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
In business news, the Jamaica film industry has recorded a 2/3 decline, equating to $2 billion in the value of business generated from local and overseas films. As a result of COVID restrictions, film production expenditure fell to $388.8 million. According to data from the Planning Institute of Jamaica, temporary jobs created by the industry declined by 334 to 1,171 in 2020. The Jamaica Film and Television Association says it expects a rebound next year. Phosphorus Company has seen an increase of $92 million in profits, or 414% from $22 million in the prior year. The company attributes the increase primarily to the greater availability of the products required by the market. While the overall increase in revenues was 28%, the product lines that had significant increases were PVC, hardware, wiring devices, and control devices. The Board of Governors of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has approved a general allocation of special drawing rights (SDRs) equivalent to $650 billion on August 2, 2021. The funds are expected to boost global liquidity. The general allocation of SDRs will become effective on August 23, 2021. The newly created SDRs will be credited to IMF member countries in proportion to their existing quotas in the fund. About $275 billion of the new allocation will go to emerging markets and developing countries, including low-income countries. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Now for the top regional and international stories. In news from the region, Guyana is working on a system to generate digital versions of a COVID-19 vaccination card. The move is in a bid to reduce the possibility of forging the vaccination card. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony says anyone caught forging the documents will face the law and could face up to 3 years in prison. In news overseas, a Brazilian Supreme Court justice has ruled that President Jair Bolsonaro should be investigated for his unproven claims that the country's electronic voting system is vulnerable to fraud. Wednesday's ruling resulted from Bolsonaro missing a deadline on Monday to present any proof of his claims. The Supreme Court will now lead an investigation into the dissemination of fake news about the court and its members, as well as looking into a supposed digital militia financed by private companies to do so. And Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine shows 93% efficacy up to 6 months after the second dose. The company says it is now looking for full government approval. Moderna is planning to submit its application to the Food and Drug Administration this month. Currently, the vaccine has emergency use authorization.